Thank you, Madam Chair. First, I want to note on HB 1979, I have a substitute. I'm happy to explain that substitute.
Thank you. Go ahead.
So it looks in the substitute like we're making more changes than what we really are. Most of them are technical fixes, although we are adding a delayed enactment date to January 1st of 2026. And we are creating a 25% maximum cap in terms of the disposable weekly earnings that can be garnished. And that is basically it.
Thank you. Is there a motion on the substitute? It's been, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Delegate Hernandez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So this bill makes some, I think, very necessary changes to wage garnishments in Virginia. And I'm going to tell you something that I personally found shocking. I kind of hope that it also shocks you, which is that current law allows for state and local governments, when they're collecting tax bills, to garnish 100% of a person's wages. 100%. This is, by all of our research, Virginia is the only place in the nation where this is permitted and actually done. We are very much an outlier in this regard. This obviously is devastating for low-income individuals who are living paycheck to paycheck and who may lack meaningful savings. And so this bill, all it does is set a maximum amount of disposable earnings that can be garnished for the collection of state and local tax debts. Specifically, it sets a cap of 25%. This brings us in line with the vast majority of other states. It also treats state and locality as other debt collectors as well, so it sort of puts everyone on the same playing field. I want to thank the stakeholders who have worked very diligently on this bill. This idea was brought to me by the Virginia Bar Association. Also want to give a shout out to my local treasurer, Dawn Hester, who knows something about being in this building and working on legislation. And so with that, I guess I'll just say too, based on the initial fiscal impact statement that came back from the bill, with the substitute that we have here between the changes that we have made, it should eliminate any fiscal impact for the department. They think now, at least in correspondence that I've heard, that they'll consider implementation of this just routine. So hopefully with that, we can make this necessary change so when we're talking about the fruits of someone's labor, we actually mean it.
Thank you, Delegate Hernandez. Before we turn to testimony, are there questions from the patron or from the committee? Seeing none, are there folks who would like to speak in support of the bill?
Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, we'd like to thank Delegate Hernandez for patroning the bill, Eric Link on behalf of the Virginia Bar Association. This is part of our legislative package, and we appreciate your consideration.
Thank you.
Jay Spear with the Virginia Poverty Law Center, and we support the bill. As you can imagine, it really is incredibly difficult when somebody loses their entire paycheck. And unfortunately, I've talked to some folks, and it's just basically ruined their lives. So we really appreciate this legislation.
Thank you. Is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition to the bill?
Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, Alan Albert on behalf of the Treasurers Association of Virginia. First and foremost, I want to say how much we appreciate the time that Delegate Hernandez has spent with us. His treasurer, of course, is somebody well known to this body, and we really are grateful for that. Unfortunately, I think the Treasurers Association is not able to support the bill in its present form. Taxes have received a priority over other creditors for more than 100 years. This code section we're amending was in the 1919 code, to give you an idea. In our discussions, we suggested that a good middle ground might be to put taxes on the same footing as support payment garnishments, which are dealt with in Section B of that, B1 of that subsection, or even somewhat lower than that, but that because taxes have a super priority in this state, we'd like to see a greater number. We have a couple of treasurers here. If you'd like to hear from the President of the Treasurers Association for 30 seconds, that would be great. Thank you.
There's someone else wishing to speak?
Madam Chair and members of the committee, I'm Jody Acosta. I'm the treasurer for the City of Falls Church. I'm also the president for the Treasurers Association of Virginia. We do oppose this bill in its current form. Treasurers are very aware. I mean, we work with tax delinquents a lot, obviously, collecting these taxes, and we're aware that 100% is pretty harsh for some people. And most treasurers that I've talked to, they use that as the beginning of a negotiation for tax delinquents that we have not been able to reach any of the other 10 times that we've tried to contact them. But when you file 100% wage lien, you get their attention. And then they'll call you, and then you can work with them. And every treasurer that I've talked to in the association, I know there are a couple that do use that 100%, but most of them do not. They use it as the starting point of a negotiation. So thank you.
Thank you. Are there questions for the patron or Delegate Hernandez? Would you like to? Delegate Ware.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I wonder if Tax is here and can speak to the fiscal impact statement and can give us an update. Obviously, there's been work along the way, as the patron says.
Yes, Madam Chair, Delegate Ware. With the amended or the substituted bill with the only having the 25% cap on wage garnishments and the effective date in January, the tax department does consider this routine and is neutral as to the bill.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
And Madam Chair, if I could just say, I just want to emphasize again that we are an outlier nationally. No other place in the United States allows for 100%. And so I have no doubt if you send a garnishment for 100% of someone's wages, they are going to notice that. It's going to get their attention, as was said. But I don't think we have to do that at such a high cost to someone where we are pushing them into poverty, maybe making them lose their housing. It can be devastating for families. And so, again, this just puts us in line with other garnishments in Virginia. This just puts us in line with other states across the nation, and hope it would be the will of the committee to support this bill, especially at a time where families are struggling.
Thank you, Delegate Hernandez. Any other questions or comments for the patron? Hearing none, the committee operates by motion.
Move to report.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Delegate Ware, you'd like to speak?
Just, I appreciate the work that clearly the patron has done on this, and I think it's moving in the right way. I think it may, from my vantage point, maybe a little bit beyond where I'm prepared to go today, but I certainly understand and appreciate the way he's put it forward. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Seeing no other requests to speak, the clerk will open the roll. House Bill 1979 reports with thank you. Reports with substitute 5-1.